Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video on Manhwa Recap. Today, we're diving into a series of hilarious and unexpected situations that are guaranteed to keep you entertained from start to finish. Before we begin, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to support the channel. And if there's anything you think can be improved, feel free to leave a comment below so I can make future videos even better. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. I accidentally liked a post from my celebrity ex-girlfriend, and that single click triggered a disaster I never saw coming. We had been broken up for 2 whole years. For most of that time, I had practically vanished from her life. Yet somehow, one accidental like was enough to wake the sleeping dragon. And trust me, she was not happy. Actually, she sounded way too interested. At the time, I was staying in a cheap guest house during a business trip. The soundproofing was so bad that I could hear everything next door. A young couple had just checked in, and they immediately started making enough noise to start a side quest. There was absolutely no sign of them slowing down. So, to distract myself, I started scrolling through my social media feed. That was when my peaceful evening ended. Right at the top of my feed was a new post. And whoever posted it clearly knew how to break the internet. I nearly dropped my phone. My first thought was, when did I even follow this person? The photo looked cinematic. The lighting, the angle, everything was perfect. It looked like something straight out of a high-budget drama poster. The atmosphere was unreal. Every detail seemed carefully planned. Even the smallest elements stood out. I could literally feel my brain lagging for a second. Embarrassment and curiosity hit me at the same time. And before I realized it, my finger slipped. Yep, I accidentally hit the like button. Then I finally saw who posted it. And then my soul left my body when I recognized the account. It belonged to my celebrity ex-girlfriend. I instantly removed the like my life depended on it. Unfortunately, the damage had already been done. My phone started vibrating like it had entered boss battle mode. Message after message flooded onto my screen. Apparently, disappearing for 2 years was fine. But liking one post was crossing the line. That was her logic, not mine. And she wasn't planning on letting me escape. Confused, I simply replied with a single question mark. Big mistake. That only encouraged her. Why? That was apparently the opening of a full interrogation. She started listing evidence. Meanwhile, I was sitting there wondering how this became a courtroom. The Ice Queen actress was acting anything but cold. She sounded weirdly competitive. And somehow I was losing the argument, without even trying to fight. The version of her I remembered was elegant and composed. This version was absolutely unhinged. Every new message was more chaotic than the last. I quickly tried to shut the situation down. It was an accident. That's all it was. There was no hidden meaning behind it. The moment I hit send, she instantly replied and rejected my excuse. According to her, that explanation was completely fake. She practically accused me of lying to save face. I bit my lip in frustration, because deep down, she had cornered me perfectly. Still, I refused to surrender. I mean, come on. I'm just a normal guy trying to survive the internet. Sure, disturbing her was my mistake. But wasn't this a completely normal accident? Anybody could have done it. And if we're being fair, was she really innocent in all this either? After that, I dropped a final good night. For the first time all evening, she went silent. I finally relaxed. Then my best friend called at the worst possible moment. His voice sounded like he had won the lottery. Bro, you and your ex are trending right now. That sentence hit me harder than any anime plot twist. I immediately opened the trending page, and there it was, staring directly at me. My name sitting beside the nation's biggest actress. No editing. No misunderstanding. Just pure disaster. My vision nearly went black. With shaking hands, I clicked into the topic. The comment section looked like complete chaos. Everyone was losing their minds. The memes had already begun. The theories were multiplying. And somehow every comment was more ridiculous than the last. Some people were jealous. Others wanted the full story immediately. Many fans were shocked that their cold and elegant goddess could act this emotional. Their worldview was collapsing. And honestly, mine was too. People were analyzing every tiny detail like detectives. Meanwhile, I just wanted to disappear. After reading enough comments, I came to one conclusion. My ex was absolutely insane. So I immediately deleted her from my contacts. That's what a responsible ex should do. Disappear quietly. And never return as a surprise boss. Unfortunately, my brain was a mess. So I asked my friend what actually happened. How did a private conversation become national news? My friend immediately started laughing. Then he explained everything. The Ice Queen actress had been live streaming for her new drama. While playing a game, she forgot to disable screen sharing, which meant our entire chat got broadcast to the internet. I nearly broke my phone. Nobody with functioning brain cells would make that mistake. But here we were. At that point, the entire internet was debating my future like I was the main character of the season. The hype refused to die down. Meanwhile, I was low-key panicking, so I packed my bags and retreated back home. Home was supposed to be my safe zone, my respawn point. The moment I dropped onto my tiny bed, I finally felt my nerves settle down. Wrapped in a warm blanket, I slowly drifted towards sleep. Then it happened. Someone started pounding on my door. At the exact same time, I heard the familiar voice of my persistent beauty. She started complaining from outside the door. Apparently, deleting her from my contacts had hit her hard, and she wasn't letting it go. She kept throwing out ridiculous excuses to win me back. Anything to keep my attention. Anything to stop me from looking elsewhere. The desperation was unreal. Open the door! She just kept repeating it. I rolled over, pulled the blanket over my head, and tried to mute reality. It didn't work. She stubbornly stayed outside, calling my name. No matter how hard she tried, I refused to answer. Eventually, the noise faded away. But I was fully awake now. I slipped on my shoes and walked to the window. Then, cracked it open slightly, and peeked outside. The old apartment building looked as worn out as ever. And there she was in a white dress. The simple design somehow made her stand out even more. Tall, elegant, impossible to ignore. She bent one knee slightly, leaning against my door, her head lowered in thought. The usual confidence was gone. The spring breeze played with her hair. And somehow she looked disappointed. I shut the window. For some reason, my chest felt heavy. Still, if she wanted to wait, she could keep waiting. No emotional manipulation was going to work on me. The afternoon dragged on. Night arrived. The building wasn't exactly private. I couldn't let her stay outside forever. So I opened the door and sighed. How much longer are you staying? The moment she heard my voice, she slowly looked up. The light and shadow flamed her face perfectly. It was honestly unfair. She froze for a second, then spoke in a softer voice. Trying one last bargain, a completely shameless one. The words she'd shouted earlier flashed through my mind, and my attention drifted away for a second. The air became strangely quiet. Even she seemed embarrassed by what she'd said. She cleared her throat. Let's talk inside. I opened my mouth, ready to refuse. But she had already walked past me into the room. As she brushed by, I noticed something. The tips of her ears were bright red. She was nervous, too. Normally, she acted bold in public. But never this straightforward. She walked toward the sofa, then casually removed her jacket. The confidence was unbelievable. Meanwhile, my brain was already lagging. Wait, had she seriously planned this from the start? That realization hit me like a critical strike. She had come fully prepared. Boom. My face instantly heated up. But before I could react, she kept moving without hesitation. I snapped back to reality. My eyes widened in panic. I rushed forward to stop her, but my hand moved at the wrong moment. A complete accident. Yet somehow it made everything worse. The awkwardness reached maximum level. The room fell silent. I could hear both of us breathing. She looked at me with unreadable eyes, and I completely lost the ability to think. Fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. I couldn't meet her gaze. So I looked away. Then I quietly tried to explain myself. That was an accident. Do you believe me? She immediately caught my meaning and sounded amused, which meant she definitely didn't believe me. I could practically feel her staring. At that moment, I wanted to disappear. So I lowered my voice. Forget this happened. And don't tell anyone. She laughed softly, then agreed. Far too easily. I quickly tried changing the subject and urged her to calm down. But before I finished speaking, she leaned closer, then smiled. How about accepting my friend request first? Her eyes sparkled. She looked way too confident, and she knew exactly what she was doing. Her voice dropped lower. The atmosphere instantly became dangerous. I just wanted the situation to end, so I pulled out my phone in a hurry and accepted her request on the spot. Once she finally settled down, I immediately issued an eviction notice. It's getting late. You should go home. She completely ignored me. Classic boss-level behavior. No hesitation. No fear. Just pure confidence. And somehow, I ended up losing the initiative again. Every single time. What an absolute disaster, and that was only the beginning. So after a few seconds, I immediately pulled my hand away. Before my persistent beauty left, she looked at me with obvious anticipation. Then she asked a dangerous question. Do you want this every day from now on? Hold on, was this a peace offering? Or was she trying to speed run straight into romance? No chance. Business was business. One free trial was enough. And now she wanted a daily subscription? My HP bar wouldn't survive that grind. I paused for a few seconds. Then I replied, some things are worth experiencing once. No need to force more. The stars in her eyes immediately dimmed. Like someone had switched off the lights. The entire room filled with defeated NPC energy. After a long silence, she spoke with unusual sincerity. As long as it's something you like, I'll do whatever you want. She was already at the doorway. Yet she still landed that final attack. Seriously. I honestly believed that after she left, our paths wouldn't cross again anytime soon. I was completely wrong. The next morning, the doorbell rang. I opened the door and saw her again. My brain froze for several seconds. She smiled warmly. Are you going to let us in? Only then did I realize she wasn't alone. Standing beside her were a director and her manager. With 4 people inside, my tiny living room became ridiculously crowded. I sat down on the couch, then nervously asked, So, why are you all here? The director was a famous powerhouse in the industry. Every project she touched became a hit. She adjusted her posture. Mr. Lin, we'd like to invite you to join my new dating reality show. Would you be interested? I was stunned. Wait, I'm not even a celebrity. I can't act. Can I really join? Of course. She nodded confidently. You don't need acting skills. Just be yourself. We want authenticity. And your popularity online is exploding right now. You already have traffic and audience attention. The moment she mentioned online popularity, I glanced sideways, toward the mastermind sitting quietly beside me. My persistent beauty smiled innocently, then even winked at me. The director handed over a contract. I prepared this in advance. Take a look and see if you're comfortable with the terms. If you're interested, your lawyer can review it before signing. I carefully flipped through every page. Then I saw the payment. $200,000 per episode. My eyes almost popped out. After reviewing everything, the conditions actually looked reasonable. So we agreed on a signing date. The moment that discussion ended, the manager jumped into action. He handed me another contract, then smiled. Actually, our star actress wants to join the show with you. You two can interact frequently during the live stream. I remained silent, seeing no reaction from me. The manager continued. The compensation is extremely generous. More than 10 times the amount you just agreed to. I simply smiled at him, then looked toward her. She was staring directly at me. Her eyes contained countless emotions. Hope, confusion, longing, and most of all, hurt. Nobody else understood what she was really after. I did. She wanted more time with me. First, become friends again. Then become lovers. And eventually return to what we once were. As she lowered her gaze, I finally gave my answer. Sorry, I'm not interested in fake CP marketing. A few days later, I headed to the filming location. The dating show was being filmed by the sea, to avoid crowds and distractions. The production team chose a remote area. I switched transportation multiple times, then waited half an hour for a taxi. By the time I arrived, most of the guests were already there. I checked my watch. 5 minutes early? Perfect. Just then, a young guy in a black designer hoodie approached me. His voice was cheerful. So, you're the mysterious final guest, Lin Yu? Bro, we've all been waiting forever. I immediately recognized him. The rising idol. The moment he appeared, I understood the director's plan. He had worked with my persistent beauty more than anyone else. For years. Even though she'd never promoted their ship. Their fans kept the pairing at the top of every ranking. Now, the real X and the internet's favorite ship were standing on the same reality show. Just like that, the production team had their perfect recipe for controversy and views. The live stream chat instantly exploded. The rising idol is seriously kind-hearted. He waited so long and still greeted Lin Yu with a smile. If it were me, I would have slapped him already. Seriously. Who does he think he is, making people bigger than him wait around? He's just a nobody. Other than his face, what's special about him? Look at him dragging that suitcase around. He really thinks he's some final boss making a grand entrance. Why is the ex-boyfriend acting so cold? He's only here to be the background character for our idol. I can't watch this. Can somebody remove this scheming guy already? And take that ugly suitcase with him. Forget him. I'd rather watch the idol and the star actress interact. I bet the homemade lemonade she prepared is for him. I looked past the rising idol, straight at the cameras pointed in our direction, and instantly understood everything. That innocent greeting was actually a trap designed to get me cooked online. I paused for a moment, then gave the cameras a helpless smile, even sighed dramatically. Man, I really envy you celebrities. You've got assistants managing everything. And private transportation. I had to drag my suitcase down the road forever. Couldn't even find a taxi. Before I finished, I smiled and let relief show on my face. But luckily, I wasn't late. In fact, I arrived 5 minutes ahead of schedule. You're Luge, right? That hoodie looks awesome! Unlike me, covered in dust from traveling. Since you're calling me brother, Lin, I'll call you Little Lou. Then, I deliberately looked around, pretending to search for someone, but finding nobody. Wait a second. Didn't you say everyone had been waiting for me? So where are they? I feel terrible now. Sorry for making everyone wait. I bit my lips lately, looking genuinely guilty. If you wanted to play green tea manipulation tactics, then I'd become the Grandmaster of Tea myself. The rising idol froze, completely stunned. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Meanwhile, his fans in the live stream started collapsing. Neutral viewers immediately took over the chat. Lin Yu is just a normal civilian. The location is remote and taxis are hard to find. So he arrived last. How did that become? Some calculated main character entrance? Exactly. And he wasn't even late. If he wasn't late, why say everyone was waiting? Before Lin Yu arrived, they were all just hanging out here anyway. That line definitely sounded intentional. Maybe the real schemer isn't Lin Yu. Seeing public opinion flip against them. The idol's fanbase immediately launched damage control. Come on, he was being nice. That's literally what happened. He's such a kind person. Now he's too upset to even speak. Protect our precious idol! The production team had built large tents for every participant. There was also a makeshift living room and kitchen area. After storing my luggage, I walked toward the common area. That's when I saw my persistent beauty approaching. She was carrying a homemade lemonade. The sight instantly pulled me into an old memory. I grew up in the countryside, and she had been my childhood friend. Back then, our village only had an elementary school. To attend middle school, we had to take a bus to town every day. The problem was that I got severe motion sickness. The smell of gasoline alone was enough to destroy me. Every ride felt like a boss fight. The roads were rough. The turns were endless. And almost every trip ended the same way. I'd stumble off the bus feeling sick. Sometimes I'd even throw up. She always prepared warm water for me and carried tissues everywhere, taking care of me the whole journey. She was 2 years older than me. The smartest kid in the village. Top grades, endless praise. Eventually, she skipped multiple grades. Yet somehow, we still attended the same school. There was only one school bus. So, we traveled together every day. She usually sat quietly in the back, rarely speaking to anyone. At first, we weren't close. Just two kids sharing the same commute. Then one day, I fell asleep on the bus. Everyone got off. I didn't even wake up. She stopped beside my seat and quietly said, "We're here." That was all. But somehow, it became the beginning of everything. Back in middle school, Bullying was everywhere. Students formed groups, targeting anyone they disliked. My childhood friend was the youngest student in her class. She was smaller than everyone else. Short, pale, and delicate looking. Exactly the kind of person bullies loved targeting. They gave her cruel nicknames, destroyed her textbooks, stuffed trash into her desk, and threatened her to stay silent. One afternoon after school, I couldn't find her anywhere. After asking around repeatedly, I finally learned the truth. Several older girls had cornered her in the restroom. They planned to teach her a lesson. The moment I heard that, I grabbed a chair and sprinted straight there. When I burst through the door, I saw her curled up against the wall. Her hair was a mess. She wanted to teach him a lesson. Then she reached toward the Ice Queen's face. The whole scene looked straight out of a bullying nightmare. My eyes instantly turned red with anger. Without thinking, I grabbed a chair and charged in. I swung it with everything I had. The bully screamed in pain. Then she spun around and glared at me. That was when fear finally hit me. But backing down was not an option. I forced myself to stay calm. Then I grabbed half a bucket of filthy mop water. I raised it like a weapon. I shouted that nobody was touching him again. Otherwise, that disgusting water was flying. The bullies instantly hesitated. Nobody wanted that smoke. They stared at me like I was completely insane. Honestly, they were probably right. But none of them dared move closer. After a storm of insults, they finally left. Only then did I look at him. He kept his head lowered. His arms were wrapped around his knees. His whole body was trembling. He looked like an abandoned kitten. Fragile, lonely, and defeated. I slowly walked toward him. Then I reached out my hand. The entire world seemed silent. When he finally looked up at me, my heart skipped a beat. His stubborn, dark eyes were covered in a thin layer of tears, and reflected in them was my own face. The sunset streamed through the window. Golden light filled my palm. Then he placed his hand in mine. Everything changed after that. That was the real beginning of our story. I stared directly at him and gave him one rule. Never suffer in silence. Fight back and ask for help when you need it. Especially from me. I was taller, stronger, and way more reckless. Some guys even called me a menace. And honestly, I wore that title proudly. After that, he started taking care of me too. He secretly bought medicine for my stomach. Every single time, he learned what foods helped with motion sickness. And every morning before school, he prepared lemon tea by hand. Not once did he forget. Just like that, we spent 3 peaceful years together. Then high school arrived. Both our families moved into town. And life carried us forward. Years passed in the blink of an eye. Yet he still remembered everything. Even my old motion sickness, which had long disappeared. Then the idle boy appeared. He excitedly asked about the lemon tea. His voice instantly pulled me back to reality. He ran over and stood beside the Ice Queen. Like they were a perfect pair. The live stream exploded. The chat moved at light speed. Fans immediately started connecting imaginary dots. They were already writing wedding vows in their heads. According to them, this was undeniable proof. The shipping train had left the station. And there were no breaks. The audience was farming romance points nonstop. Meanwhile, I just watched the chaos. Then came the plot twist. The idol boy asked again, and everyone waited for a sweet answer. The Ice Queen looked at him in confusion. Then answered honestly, I don't know. If you like lemon tea, there's still a lemon in the kitchen. That single sentence was devastating. The idol boy froze. Then the Ice Queen walked straight to me. He placed the lemon tea in front of me. Then pulled out stomach medicine. His voice softened. Are you still feeling sick? Do you want to rest for a while? I pushed both items back toward him. Then smiled politely. My stomach got better years ago. The internet lost its mind. The comments exploded. Everyone called it a legendary slap-face moment. The idol boy got cooked, and the fake ship started sinking fast. People finally connected the dots. The Ice Queen still remembered me. Every detail. And the audience could see it clearly. The Ice Queen was down bad. Before long, the show dominated the trending charts. The idol boy's reputation took a hit. People accused him of clout chasing. The comment sections turned into a battlefield. Everyone became a detective. Old receipts started resurfacing everywhere. Years of suspicious behavior got exposed. The internet delivered a full combo attack. Longtime fans joined the discussion too. Many claimed he had been chasing attention for years. Then, the real X finally appeared, and the illusion shattered. People compiled entire evidence threads. The verdict was brutal. I just watched from the sidelines. Free entertainment. Can't beat that. The idol boy stood there stunned. Then he ran off to answer a phone call. And never came back. The director explained that his company pulled him away. They had scheduled other work. His journey on the show was over. For the next few days, I avoided the Ice Queen. But after filming one night, he finally cornered me. It was already deep into the night. Moonlight stretched across the endless sea. Stars reflected on the water. The ocean breeze rolled in gently. Ripples shimmered across the surface, like countless floating lanterns. Then he stepped in front of me. Silver moonlight covered his figure. Even his cold aura seemed softer. He looked at me. Can we talk? I nodded without hesitation. Then I started walking along the shore. I let the silence stretch so long it felt like it was choking the room itself. Then I finally broke it, voice low, almost bitter. Why did you keep shutting me out like I was some kind of beast? I said it half joking, but the hurt leaked through anyway. There was a crack in my voice. I tried to hide. That invisible crack, Yeah, it was definitely there. I looked at her, my toxic ex, and she just shook her head like it was nothing. No, it's not that. Then she dropped it. Cold, clean, brutal. We already broke up, didn't we? So the best mode is no interference. I lowered my gaze, swallowing something sharp in my throat. For 2 years, I had been grinding behind the scenes. Every single second. I was trying to get her attention like a man possessed. Missed calls by accident. Staged. Social posts. All carefully designed bait. Every move. Calculated just to make her look my way. And she really thought I didn't notice? NPC level denial. I lifted my head again. My voice came out rough. So, tell me, Rain, what kind of guy do you actually want? I can change. I can become whatever version of me you want. I went silent. Her eyes wavered, just slightly. And that tiny crack. Yeah, I saw it. No doubt about it. She was still dangerous in a different way. Quiet, emotional damage type. Even after 2 years, she still had a place in my system. But I also knew the truth. This was never going to work out. Being with her always left me feeling like I was losing something inside. So I did the only move left. I cut the loop. I forced myself into cold logic. Then I'm done chasing this. Whatever you want, I'll accept it. But I know one thing for sure. It's not you. Not even close. Her face froze instantly. Like someone hit pause on her emotions. Then her eyes went red. Full system crash. Silence dropped like a heavy boss fight arena. Even the air felt like it stopped rendering. We stared at each other. Neither of us had a next move loaded. Then she finally spoke. One last question. 2 years ago, why did you suddenly say you didn't love me anymore? Why did you break us? 2 years ago, why did you suddenly decide you didn't like me anymore? Why did you end everything? That question. She'd been throwing it at me like a broken system loop. After the breakup, I swear she asked me at least 100 times. And every single time, I had the same problem. I couldn't tell the real truth. Because if I did, this man, the one I used to be, would have destroyed everything for me. Everything he built. All those years of grinding, gone. He was too loyal, too real, too human for his own good. And I refused to let him crash his life just because of me. That was the worst possible ending route. Even if we got back together, I'd be drowning in guilt every single day like a permanent debuff. No escape, no reset, a dead-end path. So, when she asked again, I stuck to the same lie I always used. We just drifted apart. Feelings faded. That's all. She didn't answer. Just stared at me like she was trying to extract the truth from my soul. That gaze, it was terrifying in a quiet way. Like she could see right through every layer I'd built. I felt it coming. If I stayed any longer, I'd break first. So I forced myself to stay calm and look down. I'm leaving. I said it flat. No hesitation. Then I turned. Walked away like I had it under control. But then, her hand snapped onto mine. Can I hold your hand one last time? Her voice was shaking, completely cracked. I didn't answer. My brain just froze. And in that split second, she grabbed my hand anyway. Fingers locking like she refused to lose the final save file. She held on way too long. Like letting go would delete everything. So I started pulling my fingers out one by one, slow, careful, painful. I didn't even dare look at her face. I just walked faster. And behind me, I could feel her still standing there. That night, I dreamt. Back to the beginning patch of our story. High school graduation, when I first confessed to her. We even got into the same university like it was destiny coded. But then summer hit. And everything changed. A talent scout found me. Signed me into the entertainment industry overnight. We had only been together a few months. Still in that sweet early phase. And then came the separation arc. Before leaving, I told her dead serious. I'll make money! A lot of money! And when we marry, I'll give you the biggest wedding this world has ever seen. A full dream build, but reality? We were both broke back then. Barely surviving families, no safety net. That's why I worked like a machine after that. Endless schedules, acting classes, school on top of everything. And slowly, our calls dropped from daily to once a month. Sometimes I'd disappear for months filming. And even half a year. I might not see her face even once. As her boyfriend, I could only watch her life through a screen. And yeah, I was proud when she kept climbing higher. But at the same time, jealousy and fear started creeping in. I was stuck in a battlefield of emotions, even arguing with her aunties online until sunrise like a madman. Then came the scandal rumor. Some fake news about her and another male celebrity. It hit trending like a boss raid explosion. I remember hiding under my blanket, completely broken. I cried so hard I couldn't breathe properly. That night felt endless, like a mental collapse. Barely slept at all. The next day, she called me. Soft voice, calm, like nothing happened. Baby, listen, it's not what it looks like. He stepped on my dress during a show. I almost fell, so he just caught me. There were cameras everywhere. That's it. We're nothing. Seriously. The internet just blew it up out of proportion. Just rumors, they said. Don't believe any of it. And yeah, I told myself I believed him, but deep down, that heaviness in my chest wasn't going anywhere. I understood it too well. As long as he stayed in that world, this kind of chaos would keep happening again and again. For a moment, I actually wanted to ask him, can you just quit? Leave the industry, change paths. I don't need wealth. I don't need a grand wedding either. I just want him here. But every time I saw him talk about acting, about awards, about how much he loved it, I couldn't say a single word. Maybe I really was selfish. I watched him climb from nothing, extra roles, supporting roles, all the way up, to standing under the spotlight as a lead. Nobody understood his grind like I did. I was there even when I wasn't there. And if I ripped that away from him, all my years of watching him struggle would mean nothing. And that thought alone hurt more than anything else. Then life didn't even give me time to breathe. Right before New Year, my father collapsed. Brain hemorrhage, ICU, emergency, critical condition. My mother couldn't handle it either, and ended up hospitalized from shock. I sat outside that emergency room bench, completely falling apart. No control, no direction. And him, he was buried in work overseas. No way back. My fingers hovered over his contact, trembling. But I didn't call. I just couldn't. Time dragged like a punishment. Until the doors of the ICU finally opened. The doctor walked out and shook his head. We did everything we could. Go say your goodbye. Inside, my father lay there, pale, fragile, fading, like the world had drained him dry. Even so, he still tried to sit up just to look at me. That's when it hit me. Time had already stolen so much more than I noticed. He was no longer young. Gray strands mixed into his hair like silent proof of everything we survived. He smiled and reached out to pat my head. That was it. I broke. I clung to him like a kid who didn't want the world to continue. And then he asked, "Where is he? Why didn't he come with you? Call him. I need to tell him something." My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone. 3 calls. No answer. Then finally, a man picked up. A calm voice. Too calm for the moment I was in. "I'm looking for him." Wrong timing. He's in rehearsal for the Spring Festival show. No time to take calls. Click. Just like that, the line went dead. I froze. Still holding the phone like a lifeline that snapped, I turned slowly toward my father. And I didn't even know what expression I was making anymore. Then he spoke again. Softly, painfully. "Don't ever forget yourself, okay?" Those words shattered everything I was holding together. I cried. Like I had been saving tears for a lifetime. And they all came out at once. After everything, there was nothing left to hold on to. Nothing. That night, I walked out of the hospital into a world celebrating New Year. Without me. And I finally understood. Love isn't the only thing you can lose. Sometimes you lose everything at once. Still, I made my decision quietly. No drama, no begging. Just a final message. We're done. And I let the world move on without me. That was the moment everything inside me went quiet. Outside the biggest mall in town, the world felt like it was moving without me. A brand new LED screen flickered overhead. And then I saw it. Spring Festival Gala livestream, blasting in full glory. And his voice, my ex's voice, cut straight through the winter air. I stood under a street sign, just staring upward like I'd been locked in place. There he was, on that giant screen, singing beside another top-tier male star. The industry's hottest rumored CP partner. Yeah, the same guy who answered my phone earlier like it meant nothing. When the song ended, the other guy rushed in. A hug. Public. Loud. Performative. Luja! He hugged him like the cameras were the only audience that mattered. My ex lifted a hand instinctively, like he wanted to push him away. But then he stopped. Something in his head clicked, and the hand dropped. Politeness. That damn trained behavior that kept him from acting like a real human. Because yeah, millions were watching live. He couldn't afford a scandal. And honestly, it wasn't even a big deal in that world. Just another staged moment. But around me, girls were screaming like it was the final boss romance route unlocking. See? I told you this CP is real. I don't care if it's fake, I'm shipping them forever. Even the heavens can't separate them. I almost laughed at how delusional it sounded. My ex just stood there, blank, lost, like he was looking straight through the screen. And for a second, I swear it felt like he was looking at me. Through all that noise, through the fake smiles and staged lights, something inside me finally went quiet. Sometimes losing someone hits different than holding on. I pulled out my phone, fingers steady for once. Opened his contact. Typed one line. We're breaking up. Then I jolted awake. 'Tis already there. Sliding down my face like they had been waiting, soaking the pillow like proof of a dream I couldn't escape. And that's when it hit me, clearly. You can love someone deeply and still choose to walk away. You can miss them every single day and still feel relief that they're no longer a part of your chaos. Because outside of love, there are still things worth surviving for. Family, friends, career, and the version of me I haven't built yet. As for you, my former love,